Okay, welcome again to the Stratum Insight session. Today we'll be talking about Stratum as a service or software as a service, running Stratum in a model, uh, off premise. So this is today's topic. We'll be talking about, what exactly is it and why. We'll take a look at the architecture as it is today. Just a quick discussion on some security components. How does the data get to us? And how do the users get to it in terms of analyzing the data? And we'll take any questions. So that's our agenda for today. Before we get started on anything, we all know what the Stratum Data Hub is. If you don't, this is our environment at a high level. And as you can see, it's got many different areas of getting data in and getting data out of Stratum. And we've come up with a myriad of different products to make that easy for both technical folks and analysts and users as well. Today's topic is more talking about how we would run this solution off premise. That's something that would be taken off your plate in terms of having an IT staff and somebody, a resource or two, dedicated to this application. Well, what is it? Running Stratum as a service. What exactly are we talking about? Well, basically, you'll be running Stratum off premise. So basically, it's Stratum somewhere else. And so this basically means that it's available as if it were on premise. The users really won't notice a difference. The interface is the same. So there's really no difference there in terms of running it on premise or off premise, and the perspective of the user. All the features and functionality is available. So again, this is not vastly different than if you were running the solution on premise. And obviously without all the back-end hustle and bustle that you could avoid, etc. So why would you want to do something like this? Well, we all know that the industry is kind of moving this way. A lot of IT shops are not what they used to be. Budgets are tight. COVID has certainly impacted things. So, certainly this is a cost saving thing. This is ideally, you're going to get rid of servers or virtuals. You're not going to be running hardware any longer. And you'll be offloading the responsibility, the administration burden of running the application on premise within your own server room. It seems weird to even say server room anymore. It seems like nobody's running servers any longer. So yeah, big time cost savings, which makes it easy and convenient, right? So obviously, that's something that you don't have to worry about any longer. Yeah, there's still some jobs running, to get the data extracted. That's something that's typically done on premise, and then the files are then sent to us securely. But yeah, I mean, it's really big time cost savings. It's easier on your business. And one less app and one less virtual server or physical server to support within your enterprise. So, this is kind of what we see as the architecture today, where we've got different customers coming in, depending on where their environment is stored. We've got a couple of virtuals in the mix where we're hosting customer environments within each one of those virtual servers. This to me is more single tenant as opposed to multiple tenant, and I say that because this is siloed, so that the customers, there's no technical way that a customer can reach across to the other environments. Another big thing in the mix here that is coming up and coming with Sylvan is leveraging Azure AD. So that is something that to look forward to, that we'll be leveraging. So that's just adds another component of convenience and security. And then in terms of getting the files to us, your data has to obviously be shipped to us. So we use secure methods. SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol, is something that we recommend, and then we provide the necessary guidance and tools, utilities, to make sure that the files are being transferred securely and encryption is happening. So, this is a model that, as we grow with hosted customers, this scales out roughly the same way. We add another virtual server in the mix if needed, and so on and so forth. Security, going a level deeper on security, the Azure AD will give us, these components of security to making sure that the users that are logging in are who they think you are. Any threat that is hitting our environment obviously is secured. The level of Azure AD security is just going to give us that much more threat protection. This is our cloud security. Will be at the, it's not in today. It's not run today. We actually run just regular Windows AD on a domain with some virtuals on a domain, where users have to know what their unique user ID and passwords are. So this is something right around the corner for us, so that users will then be able to leverage their Azure accounts. And of course, this means your information is protected, with another level of a layer of security here. And as you know, it's a Microsoft technology. So how does the data get to you? In terms of sending us the data, obviously we need to have the data sent to us. We need your sales data, your inventory, obviously your open orders, budget. So we have customers obviously sending us files for each areas, each category of data that they're running. And they're sending us these files that are typically formatted in such a fashion so that we can get the data fed into Stratum very easily, very quickly. Some customers actually just format it based on our pending file formats. So again, that makes it much easier for us to get the data into Stratum. And they're using the secure file transfer protocol. So as you can see in the image here, just on the top there, just regular file transfer protocol is very dangerous. It's completely insecure, and we do not recommend it. Versus what you see on the bottom using SFTP, where you're sending the data, it gets encrypted, the text gets secured, and then before all that, it's then sent to the internet. Wow, somebody's ringing my doorbell right now. And then obviously, there's some layers here of security and encryption that happen before the data gets to the website server. So, it's highly recommended, it's secure, the data is encrypted, and we have customers doing this today. And this is what we would highly recommend, so that your data is encrypted and secure as it travels through the internet. So on the user side, we've got obviously the Stratum interface. And what we're doing there is we're applying SSL security there, so that the site is secured. You don't have users coming in and having the possibility of data theft or any types of eavesdropping, etc. Now the users are who they think you are. There's a level of trust that the user has when they log in. They see a green, bar, and depending on the browser they're using, telling them that they have a secure encrypted connection to the Stratum application. Verification happens. Obviously, there's a certificate that gets issued, and in an exchange, obviously a formal handshake occurs, as opposed to just anybody coming in willy-nilly and hitting your website, our website. Right. So, this is something that we do as well. so that both on the back end side, feeding the data into Stratum, and then on the front end side, analyzing the data with the Stratum interface and using the views, this is something that is locked down on both ends. And then finally, I just want to leave you with this graphic. Obviously, you can see the differences here between the pros and cons of running basically any application as a service. Stratum certainly applies here, where as you can see, the on-premise costs of having the infrastructure in place, having an IT team or some resources, maintenance, training, implementation, and customization, all that, as you can see, is under the tip of the iceberg in terms of hidden costs that not necessarily hidden, just something that gets kind of thrown under the rug, if you will. This is something that's expected. The industry is now changing, as you can see, running more software and applications as a service on the right-hand side. We can see the bottom of the tip of the iceberg is much smaller. This is something that you could save a lot more on costs. You're not having to have any IT resources per se dedicated to this application. Maintenance costs are bundled into the subscription, and training obviously is something that's included as part of the implementation and customization fees for the initial implementation. We also have ongoing managed services programs that allow you to take advantage of ad hoc training and additional, and obviously taking even more off your plate in terms of managing your environment. And we do that both for on-premise and certainly for the hosted environment as well. So running Stratum, get that off of premise if that's something you're looking to do. You're minimizing your applications, your servers, and Stratum just happens to be yet another application that you want to move to the cloud and just not worry about it any longer. Well, it's a reality. We have numerous customers doing it today. And so if you're interested, contact me. This is my information. You can reach me. There's my phone number and my email, and we can talk about it. We've done both new customers and existing customers, so it really doesn't matter. We can help you get your existing environment up to the cloud, and certainly we know how to get new customers up and running as well. So contact me. We can talk about it more. I know it was a short session today, but the topic is actually, it's something that we could talk about more as you think about moving your applications to the cloud.